Hi guys, Iron Cameraman here. I don't even know where to start because I was expecting the extra scenes to have less important plot twists. But as you already know, besides seeing the survivors, Boom decided to show us a new TV man who is not just an ordinary agent, but a chosen one. And I'll explain what I mean in a moment. In addition, as I said yesterday, he changed very much the whole fight between G-Man and Titans. Although on the other hand, the outcome of the fight remained the same, but a lot of new interesting details were added. As for these people, I tried to find out who they were and how they managed to stay alive. After all, it is quite strange that they managed not only to successfully defend themselves from Skibidi toilets from the very beginning of the war, but also not to turn into toilets at the moment when they hear the song of Skibidi Toilets. Anyway, friends, it's going to be a hot one today, so watch to the end and put like. Anyways, here we go. Let's start with the changes in part 2 of 73 episodes. There were a lot of differences, but I will tell you about the most visible. The difference can be noticed from the moment when G-Man throws the second green sphere at Speakerman Titan. If before we didn't see him fall, now the angle is a little different so we can see it. After that, we see TV Man Titan try to hit G-Man with his blade through partial teleportation. This hasn't happened before either. And at the moment when the infected Speakerman falls, a large number of Skibidi toilets with armor come from the mountains. We saw the same ones in episode 70, just with the difference that if there they had 2 lasers, here they have 4. However, in the 70 episode, they had 4 missiles in addition, so it can be said a little different but similar squad. Don't forget that the action still takes place in the outskirts of the lab, and these armored toilets are most likely guards on the outside of important buildings. The next change was when G-Man stood up while Cameraman Titan lay down, and in the modified version, the Titan was able to hit with his shoulder lasers. And this moment is the cruelest and saddest one, because the smoke is removed, we can see G-Man tearing off Speakerman Titan's legs. Other than that, we see that TV Man Titan was able to grab some of the armor with his claws on his back. And by the way, it's interesting that in the modified version, he doesn't say anything when he turns on the red glow. Perhaps his phrase that he needs G-Man's head, decided to change because of Skibidi planes, as it seemed to him already unnecessary detail. And at the very end, in the building that breaks the TV man, you can notice 3 Skibidi toilets that were not there before. In addition to everything I listed, it's also noticeable that a lot of fire and damage has been added on all characters. After the teleportation of TV Man Titan, a huge extra scene starts. When Cameraman Titan rises first, we see his gloveless hand. As expected, it is made of metal. Because he is missing a leg, in order to walk, he uses his fallen-off right laser as a crutch. But he is missing at least one leg, while Speakerman is missing both legs. So, Cameraman helps him, and like a child, throws him on his back to carry him to the base, where they will be repaired or even improved. At this time, Camera Woman decides to go further along the route as planned inside the remaining Skibidi Toilet base. And very suddenly a new character, who I'll call Purple TV Man, teleports in front of him. He says the phrase, "I know who is this," although you can't really hear it very well there, and there are no official subtitles from Boom yet, so you can listen for yourself and write your variations on what he said. If I understood his words correctly, it's not clear who he's referring to in words I know who it is. But I have a guess that he is talking about Camera Woman, because the Purple TV Man was looking directly at her. Since we know that Camera Woman is Kathy, maybe that's what he's referring to. But then again, what's the point of TV Man saying that out loud? So, I decided to ask my Discord subscribers about it, and it turns out there's a version of him saying, "Mind your own business." That phrase sounds more apt if you take into account that Camera Woman's hand is bleeding immediately afterward. We've already witnessed a similar ability in Secret Agent, when he killed the plunger. So the Purple TV Man could be one of his assistants, who, under orders, decided to scare her into not digging deeper. Recall that, at the beginning of the episode, she was revisiting memories with Plunger and including that moment when he was dying. So, I think Secret Agent is just trying to give a little hint for her to stay out of it and not investigate, or she might find out the real truth. We'll have more on this mysterious TV man later today. Now let's move on to the next scene. The thing is, an axe flew into the engineer who stopped the bleeding, and when we turn around, we see a creepy Skibidi mutant covered in blood. It seems to me that when TV Man used his ability, it also affected him. Luckily, he's killed by TV Woman. I'm glad she's back. It turns out she managed to teleport out of the fake scientist when G-Man was shooting lasers. Then suddenly you can hear someone screaming from far away. Camera Woman decides to check what it was, so she flies out some door. When she flies up, from the way the area looks, you can conclude that it's a prison. I thought at first that this building was specifically made to hold survivors, but that's not the case at all, and you'll soon see why. She professionally killed all the Skibidi toilets in a couple seconds. Next, she noticed a dead man on the floor. So when she kicks open the door at the end of the hallway, we can see the most talked about footage. People at first think it's another enemy and start shooting to avoid infection. However, they quickly realize it's an ally and stop doing that. Camera Woman was spoken to by this masked SWAT officer. This is the same character we saw killed at the beginning of episode 70, and with many of the survivors wearing white coats, I think many of them were employees of this lab. Also notice that all the characters have headphones, and only one of them is without them. And what's even scarier is in an instant, he does a wide grin, just like a Skibidi toilet. This, of course, could just be a prank by Dafuk Boom, or the premise that this person is infected with the Skibidi virus and is just hiding it. Write your guesses on this in the comments. I personally have a lot of doubts about this dude. Remember when I told you that it's unlikely that this premise is made specifically for humans? Well, I think so, since if they were captive Skibidi toilets, they would at least not be allowed to carry weapons and would not be allowed to create barricades with tables and other furniture in this way. It seems to me there were only 4 people in the base originally. That's the 2 scientists, that smiling dude and the girl. And the armed people are the ones who found them and decided to defend them from toilets to unite. This rescue squad includes 2 SWAT teams, 1 policewoman and another person with a gun. By the way, as Camera Woman comes in, you can see the body of another man in a white coat, and next to him are 2 Skibidi toilets. One of them is the same bald Skibidi toilet that was in yesterday's leak from Dafuk Boom. I was also very interested in the SWAT question, because even after he realized he had an alliance agent in front of him, he asked, "You're our ally, aren't you?" I guess they've either never seen an agent, which is unlikely, or worse, perhaps they've had experiences where agents weren't friendly to them. It seems to me that these people have often encountered infected cameramen or speakermen, and so decided to ask to make sure she wasn't infected. And Camera Woman showed since infected agents can't do that, thus proving that she is healthy. But in this whole story, there is still the question of who this new character is and what the real meaning of his phrase was. To answer this question, I have a video with a cool theory already in preparation, so subscribe to the channel so you don't miss it. The video will be released tomorrow. Bye.